Sure. Okay, welcome everyone to the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, for Thursday, July 14th, 2016. And we're going to start off the workshop with a dedication to Fabio Alfonso. I'll play the video from last week where we speak about him and show some pictures for the first part of the video. Okay, let me begin. Okay, welcome everyone to the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Memorial for Fabio Alfonso, who passed away on July 6, 2016. And this is Thursday, July 7, 2016. Normally we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop at this time, but we're going to have the memorial. And now we'll play the video that Flint has put together for the memorial, and we'll hear from Mr. Keshe after that. Okay, we'll move into Mr. Kesh now and the main part of today's workshop. This is the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, Mr. Kesh is here to give us some guidance on today's state of the union, you might say. How are you doing there, Mr. Kesh?
Thank you very much. As usual, good morning, good day to you, wherever and whenever you listen to these teachings. We had a false start, and in that time of resetting, a lot of needed to be reset. I was the last person who saw Fabio leaving this office on Wednesday on the left side of the car driving as a driver, and somehow unknown to us, nobody else, Fabio was found on the right side of the car at the point of accident. I was the last person, more or less, seeing him before the coffin was closed in my village. And in so many ways, we spent weeks with him here. I spent 6 hours a day, sometimes 7 hours a day in this room or upstairs in teaching, and learned a lot, had a lot of joy, a lot of respect for somebody, as Caroline said, came to us a year ago as a boy, and over a year became a man with a lot of respect. And I thank you for observing the 4 days of celebrating his life. I watched this video many times. I could not understand how such a position was possible. Today, in a very open way, but in a way to the language of those who understand the communication, I will transfer 4 different words and ways of information. Fabio's death was not an accident. In time, I opened the books. I've received communication from the head of state, and in trying to communicate, a lot has become open to me. There are those who try to force for the change what was supposed to come last week to slow down. There were those who wanted to keep the status quo. We changed the status quo. Today, we'll teach in different ways. Those of you who try to force the change, I have a message for you. Your time is over back home. You took a physicality with the soul of the man. We take your soul back home to where you came from. Finished. You understood. We sent you here to mature man. You picked up the habit of the man. We sent you here to promote the soul of the man, and you played the game of the man. You know the punishment. According to the Universal Council, you have called back, and under orders, you will meet your destiny at the point where you know you have to go. Those of you who never understood the meaning of this physicality with the soul of entity we interact with. This is a sign of the universal contact. And those who taught the man the knowledge of the universe and abused it will meet their own punishment according to the law of the universe. The leaders who followed and fooled the others, and those who brought the entirety of the soul of the man to be enslaved through playing power games, your term is finished. We teach the man today everything, and then you'll understand the terms in the Universal Council, how we'll deal with these situations. We send those to be observers in passing the knowledge they observed according to the laws, but they got carried away to play the games too. In the past thousands of years, number of ways we tried to influence, to bring man to peace, but it became a mayhem of one group or other playing the same game as the man across this planet. The term is finished. We bring the knowledge to the man today that those of you who committed the atrocities of the past years will come to understand the time has come to be served according to the Universal Council and the way we work to the human body. We don't punish. The man who takes a life or entity who takes the life of another man on a planned basis to achieve what he wants to do, but trying to be impartial in the positions like what we have here, is that we give the soul of the murderer to the soul of the murdered. And then it has to live with the physicality of the murdered. This you will not understand, but in the future you will understand. In a way, it means you have to wear the shoe of the one you have murdered. And as you know, you cannot fit into everyone's shoe. This is the punishment. This is how it is. Encapsulating the body of the man is nothing, but encapsulating the soul within the soul of the man means becoming a slave to your own soul, and in time you'll understand. In many of my teachings, I explain this in a matter state, and a lot of you, which you look in the materialistic world, did not understand it. I draw pictures of the spinal plasma, and I put copper and zinc. And then you understand the lighter cannot exist without the one which is stronger. And then you understand how in the Universal Council we give the man to serve himself his own punishment. When we give the finger and we close, it means it's a time of punishment. You've been served. And those who understand the language of the finger, they understand what it means to do. You depart, you take your position, and the ones who you brought to educate, to serve mankind and abuse it, they stand their own term of punishment. I gave a clear coded message on Tuesday teaching, and I received a response less than 24 hours later from those who knew who they'd done wrong. So, as I said, we are entering man into the universal community, so you have to understand the basic rules of the universal community. When you come in touch, you don't interfere, and you don't use the knowledge which you have to create conditions for you to confirm you have the knowledge and you can play what you call power games. Those who done will depart in a coming time, and you'll be escorted to where you know exactly to be. Those world leaders who've been in touch and been disclosed the information to, we warn you. Return back to the position of the peace, and some of you who have committed atrocities, you will have to stand the same punishment exactly as has been done in the Universal Council. World leaders, you made a mistake. I've been told not to mention names, but President Obama, you're online. You can come anytime and explain how you have made a black house out of the White House. We know you're online. We invite you to speak, and the silence is confirmation of the crime. For those of you who have started understanding the work of the universe, and in what we teach now, you will see more. We have a message for you. From today, you start the process of entering a dimension of understanding where physicality has no dimension, but your emotion and your soul will dictate the terms and the conditions. You will understand by the end of the day today. Those of you who try to override the situation, when I'm here, nothing is overridden. Numbers 7 billion is literally a speck of dust in the numbers we play with in the Universal Council. If you think you can manipulate a few hundred or a few thousand or a few million, they don't even count as the number of the entities of life with the soul in the universe is even beyond your imagination. So we serve the order, we will carry out the order. It's the end of kingship, it's the end of whatever you like to call yourself as groups, Illuminatis, Rothschilds, different groups, kings of different estates, you call yourselves as murderers and abusers, head of estates. We have finished your term as from today, and as from today, there shall be no religion, no name of Judaism, no name of Christianity or Islam, as all have been abused for the benefit of few. Any man from today call himself a Jew, the exact word of it is nothing but, according to what is being carried out, a murderer. You've taken the soul and have used it through the physicality. We gave you the knowledge. You have used it for physicality to gain knowledge. As of today, there shall be no Jews. No one could terminate it except me, who come from the bloodline of Moses. And I've dished what he was his biggest fear. So let's see how the rest will play the game. We decide and we change, and from today we change and we teach you everything which has been given to the governments over the past 6,000 years. You will understand, copy it, but understand it that the tool I give you today and in the teachings of next few days is the tool for the peace, is the tool for reunion, is the tool to bring man to be equal with each other, not for the separation of to be better. I will teach you how to create whatever is your imagination. You will make it, not me. At the moment, we have a pressing situation in our hand. I give my deepest condolences to the Chinese nation for the present flood. I give my deepest condolences to those who have lost members and some millions who've been displaced. We have made commitment to the Chinese Keshe Foundation, and we carry our orders to help to bring the rescue plans and every other possible ways, partially as of teaching of today, partially helping in the background to deliver the technology as rapidly as possible through civil organizations of Chinese society to help in a way to alleviate some of the pains till we deliver the following knowledge directly to the Chinese organizations who work with us to speed up the process. Can I have the screen, please? Thank you. This is directly to those who are involved in Keshe Foundations in China, and it's your responsibility to respond to your national need at this time. This makes you ready for what is to come in a short time that at least you have the first runs you understand. You have massive flood. We have taught this in the background to the people who work with us to prepare, and the work and the funds has been made available for the rescue. But this is huge, and you need to help. Keshe Foundation organizations in China, is your responsibility to stop every way you're researching, but to work in this direction till every man in China has received the support from this flood. You have a massive flood. The flood has created contamination of water and soil, contaminated heavy beyond the use. Go back to the reports and the teachings of the Keshe Foundation Ghana. Very simple process. Produce as much as you can any of the 4 gases: copper oxide, zinc, CO2, CH3, and you need the amino acid. The instruction is make 100 milliliter, if you can, of all the gases in 2 bottles. In 1 bottle, you put only CuO gas. You write a clear instruction for people what to do, and that is on the receipts of the first bottle. They mix.
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, we're getting a lot of feedback through the fans there. It's a really loud rumbling coming through. Maybe an adjustment of the microphone or adjustment of the fans. Maybe you need to remove your coat or something to cool down. That might help.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Put it on the top one a second. It's okay. Put it on the first one. Yeah, press it there. Yeah. It's okay. We are at 37, 35, 38 degrees heat, summer heat in south of Italy. You do not bother about anything else. You produce the CuO, CO2, the green stuff or the brown stuff, which is copper. You put it in the small jars. Don't look for anything. Any drinking bottle like this is sufficient. Put it in there because you have these in masses. You don't need to look for anything special. Put the CO2 with the water in it and put a label on it, how to use it. They take any water from contaminated water anywhere they want to be. You allow them, you only fill about 1/3 of this bottle with the gas, and you leave the rest to be filled up with the plain water or just the gas. They can add the river water or add pure water to it, wherever they find it, and add this water on top of the gas into the contaminated water of the river. It has to be 1 liter per 100 liter of contaminated water. You need about 1 liter of the gas water, what is above, in this contaminated water. What you will see is the following. You all have seen. The 100 liter will give you something like 10 liter of residual with a clean drinking water. This 90 liter is more or less whatever you have here.
Mr. Keshe, we can't see that color at all. It's completely transparent on the board here.
I go another one. So you have the water. No, don't change the lights. It's just, it's better, it doesn't matter, because then it goes dark. So you have the 10 liter plus 100. All you need to do, take the top. Even go for 50% of it. This water is absolutely pure. you can drink it. Any germs, any bacteria, any sediment is out of the water. Make sure you use copper oxide. Copper oxide is the only one which at the moment can give you what I call the energy to transfer and clean the water out. This 50 liter, whatever, is your drinking water, is usable water, non-contaminated, no salt, nothing else. It's pure drinking. Now, you produce a second bottle. Another bottle, what you need to add in this bottle is CO2 plus CH3 plus zinc oxide plus Mr. Cohen. Sorry about it. It's not a Jewish one. It's generous. It gives totality. CO2 is still decontamination, but if any residue left in that water, you need a liter of the CO2, this mixture, with a liter or half a liter of the clean water. So you take from the clean water, you add half a liter of it to the mixture, you get yourself the water which comes out here. You never use, and when you write the manual, you never tell them to touch the residue. Only play with the water. The CO2 will give you the establishment of part of the energy you need. This will cover you for most of the energy you need. This is needed in these conditions because most of the people get in touch with these conditions. They get emotionally disturbed and make mistakes and continues for years. By adding the zinc oxide, you bring stability to emotion and they think correct. So you feed the physicality and you feed the emotion. You'll find people will not behave out of order. They'll find a solution in peace with themselves and the condition they are in. And you add amino acid that it connects with their body. In the point of infection, damages, anything else on the skin, cuts and bruises, deep cuts, there are certain procedures. You write a manual, very simple. In the case of infection on the skin or the cuts, they use again the Gans water. We're talking about the plasma. CuO plus CO2. This gets rid of most of infections if there is on the skin. If you increase, if it's a deep cut, if it's a need for internal conditions, for damages to the organs or whatever, below the neck, here you go 50-50. In the condition of the damages, very deep cut, you have to change the composition. You do a CuO, CO2, plus a zinc oxide, plus the amino acid. Ratio, because it's physical, 5, 3, 1, and 1. I'll correct this one that you understand exactly what it is. So this is needed. You do the repair in the muscle tissue. You do the connection and communication for the repair. Each tissue is not only physical, it has the zinc, which is the emotion, and that's where that finger sign came from, physicality and emotion. And the stupid presidents use it without understanding it. You've been all a clown for long enough. So, 5, 3, 1, 1. So, if you make 5 drops, 3 drops, 1 drop, and 1 drop, you speed up the process of the healing of tissue muscles. In a position of the broken bone, which creates, if you understand the process of the healing of the bone, bone can be healed rapidly at a point of breakage and bleeding. Your bone has a skin that when it breaks, it creates inflammation, which brings the limbs to support and brings calcium in emergency to come. So if you have a broken bone, you can instruct them very simply, or you can add a small sachet of oxide. They mix the water of calcium oxide to the above mixture in the cases of heavy damage. You reduce the CO2. Let's do it that you understand it correctly. For the bone damage, you use CO2, you use copper oxide, you use CH3, you use amino acid, and you use calcium oxide from any bone. Some of the vegetation are good at it. In the Chinese community, you know what is sitting on that side for the calcium to bring. Very quickly you can produce it. You can bring it from the ashes of the bone. If you burn the bone, you can collect it very quickly. Here, the combination is 4, even 3 drops, 2 drops, 1 or 2, 1 and 1. Here, you produce a muscle tissue and a bone tissue at the same time for rapid repair. In the cases of head injury, where you have your citizens with a head injury, especially brain damage, the condition changes totally. You make again the same thing. CO2 plus calcium oxide plus zinc oxide. These are in the cases of brain injury. So if you, from the beginning, when you're producing it, even give them 4 bottles, and in each bottle add the amino acid of the water you created it into the bottle, the condition is perfect. In these conditions, you go 3, 3, and 4. You need the calcium oxide because the brain cells establish themselves from the calcium of the skull, and without it, you can't have a brain cell. It is important. So you look at the injuries, this is what you need to do. In a coming time, later on in teachings of today, we bring different sections of the Keshe Foundation who've been working in the background to show you a new way of technology development, which you've been waiting for, which you can use in transportation and even transmutation and production of the energy to deliver these directly locally, but you have to make the systems. So we recapture. Try to make the gases copper oxide, zinc oxide, CH3, CaO2, which is a calcium, and every time you make these oxides, when you make these gases, just as you've seen, you collect a little bit of amino acid on the top. Just tip your thing, whatever you have, and add its amino acid to its gans in the water. It will stay, it will absorb, become part of it. Just stir it in it. Your gans is collected at the bottom. When you collect the gans, you put it in the bottle, add a tip into the gans. You have transferred enough amino acid of the same, because you need these to be able to connect to the injuries when it needs to be repairing. So what you do, you've seen the combination. Heavy cuts, you do, then you add the emotion and the linkage, which is there. The ratio is very clear. You have brain injury, bone injury, everything, rapid growth and rapid changes. There is, in the condition you want to take it further, this is the backbone of the Oasis system, as you know up to now. We add to the knowledge today, and we change the course of humanity from today on. We open the transportation equal to the transportation systems of the universal community today. We carry on maybe tomorrow, or maybe on Monday, or maybe on Tuesday, till, like the Maghreb systems, you start creating your first flight system. Today we call it the blueprint for a space. If you listen, you understand, you'll find out how you will be detached from material state, and how you make systems which have no matter, and you start working the way those who came here to teach man about the universal community got entangled in the beauty of the women and the wealth of land. And they changed their habits. From being the man of universe, they became the criminals of the planet. So we have sent them back. Earth from now on receive knowledge directly from the hand of the Creator. Time of torture is over. If you want to understand how to make systems which they work according to the work of the universe, you have to understand the work of the universe in its true essence. In some positions, you have already known, you have seen, but somehow the confidence of being intelligent being has been taken from you by those who pretended and brought the intelligence for those who wanted to abuse. To understand the work of the universe, look at the universe. The picture is here. Easily you can see. What do you see? Open soup. Open soup of plasma fields, open soup of magnetical and gravitational fields, and open soup of the universe. Let's look. I tried to explain the knowledge in a way that you understand, and I have explained this knowledge in different ways to 2 or 3 groups around the Keshe Foundation, around the world, that if anything happens, they carry their part of the message and the man can put it together themselves. We were expecting collateral damage last Wednesday, Thursday, and the man who made the decision to make the collateral damage in the house, which is supposed to be white, it turned out to be very black. The same woman in the position of power where I was imprisoned for 11 days in Canada had her hand in it. So, unfortunately, we shall see no presidents as a woman. The reality is, you look in the atmosphere of the universe. This is, if you look at it, the universe. What do you see in this universe? I explained this in a very fine way to our team that they could understand it, and a lot of you can relate to it. The universe has a central line very short out of this other and will carry on in its work. So the earth, the sun, center of a plasma of an electron or a proton, and the center of the universe have a central line, which this line dictates the direction of the motion of the entity. In this line, somewhere there is a large concentration of high power, which this high power fields are themselves in rotation to be able to absorb fields in and to feed out. It was this moment where these massive amount of fields, which they are in motion, at some points of different strength, will interact. And the interaction of the two fields will lead, depending on the quantity and on the strength and the size of the entity, to creation of the universes, then the creation of the galaxies, the creation of the solar systems, and then the planetary, then comes the moons, then it comes the atomic structure, then it comes matter state, and everything else. This applies to all. You are a man of matter state and physicality. You want to see the work of the universe. I explained to the team in a way they could understand. You know what a cotton candy is? Cotton candy is the thing which is a fluffy thing. You go to the fairs, you buy it, they put a stick in and they roll it and it becomes a sugar. And it's a fluff. This is exactly the work of the universe. The center is the sugar. The speed of the rotation of spreading the sugar open, and then the webs of the cotton candy machine spreads like a spider web. It's nothing, it's everything, but it has no entity. Till you put a stick in the center of it, then it becomes the center point of the interaction and the creation. Then you roll it and you pad it up. If you understand this, you understand the process of the creation of any entity in the universe. Where at one point the fields become strong enough to solidify, to become an entity, becomes the center. Be it the universe, be it the galaxy, and whatever else. And in our teachings, we call this center the wood which you put in the center of the space of the cotton candy machine, the principal matter. Because now it dictates and it builds up. Go back to the knowledge of man. Go back how you can make this cotton candy a stick and bring the cotton candy in it. Because now, if you decided and you understood it, then it becomes very easy. You choose how big the candy becomes, and by bigness, how close and where you want to be, in what color and shape. So, if it's been hard for you, I had to go through this process. I had to go through the process of the materialistic man, as I've said many times, to create the nanomaterial, to create the GANs, to create the plasma, liquid plasma, which actually the liquid plasma for you now is your sugar inside the center of the cotton candy. Then I mixed everything the way I just told you. Copper oxide, zinc oxide, everything is in one level, equal. And then you start rotating it, but you could not fix it. Now we show you how from a matter state to go to the nano state, to go to the gas state, to go to the liquid plasma, to the fields. Now we show you how you make the fields. Go back on the history of a man. Look at how for centuries man looked how to make a dome. One of the biggest achievements of the man was to learn how to make a dome. There are different stories of how different cultures came to build it. But in essential way, if you look at it, when you wanted to make the dome, you need the scaffolding. Some made the scaffolding of the hay. They shaped it to the shape of the dome. They built the dome, and then they took the scaffolding away. What they got left with was the dome they wanted. I tried to teach you how to make the scaffoldings. Now I teach you how to make the dome. You're a spaceship. You have to build a structure where you can support it, and once you built it, you take it away, the structure is there without the material state. So you've done all of it. You build the gas, you build the gas, you build the fields, you build the bowls, and you saw the emptiness of the field inside the bowl. You had your gas water and you had your gases. The only thing you have a problem with is how to get this ball to rotate and how to use the energy of it, that whatever is in this ball now can exist without the rest. And if you manage to do this, you'll understand something. It's you who's going to decide what this is going to be. It's a center line, it's an energy independent of any entity like the universe. You want energy, you want motion, you want matter, you want whatever. Now you have the energy of the universe in your hand. This has been your problem. Energy, not from what you see, but what you feel and you understand the energy of. I had to play every trick in the book of universe to get your children of the man to understand it, but all the time is your habit to look the other way. Now, I put you on the pin and you have to understand it because you have no choice. Because now we have dismissed your bosses who have used you, so you have no choice but to do it yourself. There are no more leaders, as in space. You cannot come to Earth and say, what's the decision of you, sir? You, sir, is you yourself, sir. You have to decide as the last man standing. We gave you the pen, we gave you plasma, we gave you the GANs, you sprayed it, you drank it, you saw the difference. Now you understand it's there. Now you have to understand how to make it. That is there, but you don't need to contain it. You don't need to contain it. This, if you understand, you reach the knowledge of the most advanced cultures in the universal community. And as I said, when I take man to space, I will not take him as subordinate, I take him as equal. To be equal, you have to understand from the top. You have to understand it's no use building what we tried to do with the time of God knows, 6,000 years ago. We repeated it again, and we've done it some years before that, and a few kept to themselves, and they've used it. Now, you all learn how to control this energy, and then you build and make and have whatever you need from it. Your problem was how to create this energy. Your problem was how to contain it, and then when you contain it, what about there is no dimension in a matter state? I said in many of my teachings, the beauty of working on this planet is even in the tapes that we all the time play at the beginning of it. I keep on saying, why don't these people even listen to this tape? Because all the message is in that tape. We gave you the matter that you can create the plasma, that it controls the plasma through production of nano, the GANs, and they're all interconnected and of the same so strong that one day you understand the plasma. Let's build the spaceship, or at least a universal system that this thing becomes your sun. It's you who decide. You make a Jupiter, the Earth, the Mars, and or the life, or whichever material is in this universe. Let's go back to the basic. This way, we all start the same. We started with a simple copper wire. In that copper wire, we nano-coated it. In the nano-coating, we created the GANs. In creating the GANs, we saw the energy of it. Now we know the energy is somewhere in there. How can we capture it? How can we tame it? And then we understand the work of our own emotion, and our own soul is the same as that pink bit in the center. Is there without attachment to physicality, and it controls your physicality. So if you can make one of these in a system, and you already have one of these within the structure of your brain, your soul, your emotion, you can see how you decide the interaction. I want to have water. The energy of the water will be part of me. I don't need to drink it. Where am I going to find your water? In the middle of deep space. Would like to come back to Earth to keep on drinking? Or the understanding that when the water enters the body of the man, it becomes, as I've told many times, in a field condition of the GANs, and this water now behaves as a plasma. And when it goes in your stomach, it transfers its energy through as a plasma, not as water. And then when it comes to its destination in the lymph, adds to the, what you call positioning, you call it water, which is less, far closer distance. Then it becomes a bone if it's a tighter pack. It becomes a muscle tissue if it's a softer pack. Or it stays in liquid if its gaps are too far. So that's all you need to know. Distance gives you, the closer they become, the harder the material becomes, the bone. Further distance becomes your muscle tissue. Further distance becomes your lymph and the liquid of the body. So now you understand is how you position yourself and how you absorb energy from the environment, and how you don't need to carry water with you, but if the body of the man needs energy of the water for its conformation of existence, then you produce and receive energy which converts itself, the same as crossing the stomach, crosses the body of the man and becomes the liquid of body of the man. This is what I in my teaching always say. We take 80% of our energy from our environment, and 20%, because we are physical, we have to put something in it to confirm we exist. Now you understand the process. You have to create a condition for anything you need that in interaction with what you think, which is non-dimensional, you don't have a container where your thoughts are in it. You don't have a container where your emotions are in it. It's a free plasma field interaction that will give you the strength. Then you understand you have entered the world of universal community in interaction, motion, communication, and everything else. So the problem is, how do we make the scaffolding that it can give us the dome? How do we make a structure that it gives us the free plasma? We know where it is, we have a control of it, and then we can play the game of gods. We came down the nanomaterials, we came down to GaNs of the plasma. Now, a lot of you by now should have found how to do it. And somehow it did not click. Somehow it did not work for a lot of you because you're too materialistic and you're looking for things which are not actually there, but they are there, you can't see it. You've been told you can't see it, don't believe it, show me till I believe it, and that's how they control you. So I'll show you the magic, how to believe and what to believe in. You will see, and Keshe Foundation team will show you everything piece by piece. You had everything in front of you. Are these all from you, Dr. Klaas? We have the pleasure of having Dr. Klaas with us here this week. He came all the way from Austria to bring materials to save the life of a girl he's never met, but the life is precious to him. Thank you for coming. This is what the presidents don't understand. Their life is worthless, and they make a decision to take it because they think they have the power. We have taken that away from you because you are not even worth being on this planet. What you need to do is, now we make the scaffolding. This is part of the structure of making the scaffolding. You get yourself a box. In this scaffolding, you add all the GaNs waters you have ever created. Fill it up to a limit, which you will understand the limit in the time to come. Add some of the GaNs at the bottom of it. What GaNs you put at the bottom is the central line of the universe. So a continuous energy is released. Does not work with your bottom, with the mixture of the water. But in fact, if you look at it, by leaving some GaNs material at the bottom, you create this line. Energy is continuously fed. You put the liquid plasma, the waters which you made, on the top. Let it settle. The energy is forward upcoming, continuously inside. This is your, in a way, the sugar. This is your candy cotton. Now you have to collect it. Now you have to make the scaffolding to be able to bring it together. In my teachings, I have taught you everything. But again, my children, you are too passive. When you added your GaNs into your system, what are GaNs we have here? We have plenty of it. These are all GaNs we have collected in this place. You put your GaNs, let it settle. Then you add the water of the GaNs. Now this water has become the plasma. You've seen it. You take the water, you spray it on your skin, the pain is gone. So the field is inside it. Now you have the universal condition. Now it's you who decides, do you want to be a galaxy? Do you want to be a star? Or do you want to be a planet? In what and how you stick your pen in, how close you stick your pen in, and how fast you turn the spin. In our teaching, We showed you the spin, but you all missed it. Do you remember these little cores? How we brought this in? These half cores which you made, you filled it with the GANs, you made the balls of it, and you did everything you wanted. The center of this does not need any GANs. If you place it in here, according to the strength you absorb, becomes the center. Hollow, but contained. It's you now who's got to start the steering. It's you who have to condition it that it can control it. In that process, very simply, all more or less you got to do is to add the next ingredient. Your rotating ball, your stick. When you have the stick, now the stick is empty, but now in rotating, if you remember the plasma balls, where you had the ball, you had the gas water, you have the free energy, free plasmatic gravitational.
Mr. Kesh, we can barely see that pink.
Oh my God, you can't.
Thank you. That one works.
No problem.
Thank you.
But you have again a plasmatic field. You got to make two of them, because we learn when you have two, part of the fields interact, part of the fields repel, so you need to create two of them. That the interaction of parts of the field in the same direction, same speed or opposite, creates both the gravitational and the magnetic. And in that process, now you sustain the dynamic plasma. Because in trying to catch up, in trying to absorb, in trying to give the energies of the lower order to receive the higher order, you create a turbulence. You create a motion. But now you have this. You have to contain it, that in containing it, you decide very much, going back to where we started, how and what you want to do. You've seen now this is your core. For you to be able to decide for the time being, we had to give you the rings. There it comes. Another part of the ingredient. As you've seen, is your maglev system. If you look at it, it's the coils, which now they decide. Now you have the fields of the plasma through it. Then you start the game. This is what you are supposed to do. This is what now, according to what you put in or across, will dictate the creation, because now you carry both gravitational and magnetical condition of the flow, and out of nowhere you create what to you is a black hole, what is to me a principal matter in the center of these cores, without any material, but with all the powers and the energy of the universe. Now you have created a structure which carries huge amount of energy, but now you have to take the scaffolding off. Very easy. Very easy. Once you start the rotation, empty the container. That's all you need to do. Nothing else. Because once you empty it, the fields are still there because they're already gathered. You create a center, and then the center decides on its own, according to connection with your emotion, what to be. You create a massive gravitational magnetic field force, which through your emotion you control. You do this every day in your life. You control. I want to move my arm. I want to move my leg. Where do you think it comes from? It's a remote control through the transfer of energy. And now, all you need to do, if you're very clever, you even take the cores away, and then you have a ball of energy. Very simple. The biggest mystery of the universe is solved in one go. But the more you get expert at it, then you know how to control it, and you see how it can be added. You brought the matter, you created the entities, you added with what you have, you created the plasma field, you contain the plasma field at a speed which comes on its own rotation. The rest is the sun. It's free of the mother, but still receives the energy or gives what it needs. You can keep the condition of the liquid till you get confidence the way you did. If you tap into what comes out or what goes in, you will have your meager electric current if you put matter to it. If you understand this process, you can connect to anywhere in the universe. That's how simple it has been. And our messengers getting attracted to the body of the woman on this planet changed everything upside down. We came to see how it is and why physicality makes such a change. You can all go home. You did not deliver correct. You stand your space when you go back. Brennan, are you in the background? Is Jonathan in the background? Do you see Jonathan in the background? Yeah? Is Bernie in the background anywhere? Pardon? Are they in the viewers? Because they come directly in into the Zoom. Is any of them online? They were online about an hour ago, 2 hours ago.
There's a Jonathan Colina, Colina. Is that him? I can promote him to panelist. Is that the Jonathan? Yeah, if that is the Jonathan, you could put up your hand and I can promote you to panelist.
That's him, Rick. Yeah, I'm here. Clint's in the background somewhere too.
Oh, guys. Okay, Douglas, you have the physical system with you in the state. The beauty of it is we've done this in different countries that no government can block this technology transfer today. Douglas, you have made the system. Would you like to go and then we go to the schematic which is made by the others later on? Would you like to share a screen and show us in what we showed?
Yes, Mr. Kesh. Just give me 1 second here.
Can you contact Brennan in the background to see why they are not online? They were supposed to be all in one place by now.
Yes, Mr. Kesh.
We share the knowledge in a rapid way in the past 2 weeks to make sure that no government can stop us. It's done by the Americans. The technology of the Keshe Foundation has been shared between 3 nations at the highest level. And
hello, Mr. Kesh.
Who's that?
This is Jonathan.
Okay, Jonathan, you have the demonstration to show us the diagram?
Yes, I can present to you the initial design that we have come up with. So I'm going to share the screen.
Can you share it with us? These are the basic blueprint of the spaceship creation of the pre-plasma condition needed for deep space travel. Can you share with
Okay.
us?
Yeah, sure. Wait up.
Share your screen.
Okay, so good day, everyone. This is the initial design that we have come up. So Renan gave me the concept of the dual core setup. So this is what it looks like. So this is the initial setup. So we're gonna, the design goal is to make this small circle to rotate while probably in clockwise direction, while this G, this red figure here would rotate in opposite direction. So we've come up with a basic design. We use planetary gear system, something like this.
Okay, can you go back, please? Go back 2 steps. Go back.
This
Go
one?
back to where, no, the total pictures you had on, please. And then I'll explain. Yeah, okay. That's perfect. Thank you very much. This is a blueprint. You have to, no, go back to where you just were before. No more. Yeah, stop there. You have to understand. How can we go in this? You need to use your thingy there. Yeah, okay. Can you give me the option there, please? This option, and then give me the yeah. Okay. What we're going to show you, it's very simple to understand, but it's very easy. When you look at this is, hey, okay. This is what happened. Where are we going? Can you remove this? We need this to be removed. This is not from. Jonathan, can you take your panel on the right-hand side, please, off?
Sure.
See your communication with the people. Okay. It's on there. We don't want it. If you can take it off, please.
What about that one? Is it okay now?
Yeah, okay. Now we are okay. No problem.
Okay.
So, the minute that comes. Okay, no problem. So, what we have, I cannot get it. Okay, I'll put it. What we have here, if you look at it, this is your container of dense material. This is the way you got to look at it. This is the coils which is made to create dynamism, not the flat rotation. The same is here. You don't need to have any sealing on this material. It can be as many holes as possible on all the balls, because now you have dictated it. There is no need for vacuum. You make as much hole as you like in it, because the parameter of the ball itself has dictated the condition, so you don't have to worry about sealing anything. There is no sealant in the universe. What comes in, becomes part of. So these cores you look at, before we made a vacuum, we made all sorts of things. You don't need it anymore, as long as you create dimension of hold. That what you mix in that environment creates its own, and this tube inside here has to be hollow. That your empty space of plasma is created. The size of this tube will give you the strength of and the amount of your fields. So what you need to do, as you've seen, you put the coils around it, which you embedded in. Can you go to the next picture, please? Jonathan?
This one, sir.
Carry on further, please. Go further.
That one.
Yes, that's okay. Carry on further, please. Where you get the coil?
Okay, so
Bring to the coils, please.
okay, so the design goal when I talked with Renan was that we're going to create a gear system that would rotate in opposite directions. So in order to accomplish the design goal, is we created a planetary system gear, this one,
Yeah.
such that this one rotate.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is we are going to use 12 volts.
Can you go a step further forward? Forget about the gearbox, gear mesh. We'll come to this later on.
Okay.
Go back forward to where you connected to the coils.
This one there?
Further on. Carry on. Carry on. You see, in this position, now you have a cavity over cavity, which is created by the size of the matter state, which you convert into a plasma state. Go all the way forward to your last pictures, please.
Okay, so in order to explain this better, I created a animation. So the
Okay. Just go forward. It's no problem. Just go forward.
So this is how the system works.
Sorry, is it possible to remove the annotations?
Sure. Wait up.
We're trying to clean. Yeah. No. Yes. You have to erase the drawings in the background, please. Okay, got it. Okay, let it run, please. We don't need the mechanism. Go all the way forward to the next step. Go forward to where you join the coils and the coils. I'm not interested in the gearbox.
Okay, sir. Wait up. So here.
Go forward. Go forward.
Okay, sir.
We just want to see the cores and the coils to the next step.
Wait up. I can't click the 3D.
Renan is on, but Jonathan has the pictures.
Wait, I'm having a problem with this.
We had a very bad line with Philippine today. We tried this morning. Do you want to go forward? Can you show us the end line of your drawing, if you have it?
Okay, sir. Sorry, I can't move.
Can you put your last picture on, the very last one, when the cores and the coils are together?
This one, sir?
No, that's okay. Stop there. No problem. That's
Mr. Kesh, I've got my pictures of the core ready. If you're
okay. Can you stop sharing? We go to Douglas.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. Douglas, you have the different drawing, the two-dimensional one. Can we see those for you to understand? Just to get a picture of it, then we show the systems. Can you share a screen? Somebody's microphone is open in the background. Douglas, can you share or do you have a problem? Hello, there is. Okay. This is how it looks. Stay there, don't move. This is your core, inside, dynamic, and this is your coils. You can take energy if you're interested. 300-400 megawatts is no problem. We are looking for a 3-4 terawatts, no problem. It's you who decides the problem. What's the problem? Did you touch something? The only way you will understand the power will change is which coil you use, or if you are interested in the electron vibration. If you're interested in the crumbs, we can give you trillions of crumbs. Or you're interested in the plasmatic condition. In a next presentation, you will see something different, which we'll show in a minute. Can we have your next picture, please? What you see, even it's nearly a week, 10 days they're working on, is the preliminary and more or less obsolete. But we have to go through it that you can understand it. This is, would you like to explain to us, Douglas, what it is and what you've done? Are you there? Hello?
Sorry, Mr. Kish, I was muted. Yes, this is the stand that I use to fabricate my coils on. I don't like having the metal inside the container, so you'll see in a minute they're on a different apparatus. But I use this stand as a temporary device to build the coils and get them aligned properly and connected properly. You can see the Caroline core inside, and this is a hollow tube right here that the nano-coated wire goes down inside of the Caroline, or the outer core, the Caroline core being on the inside with a butterfly loop around it of a smaller ball on the inside of the ping pong ball, which was quite a task. I'll go to the next picture. Here is just another view of the same setup, and here is inside the container is what I was seeing what kind of room I was going to have. This container worked out great for me, so I went with this one. And sorry about that. There we go. This is the final assembly. As you can see, the cores are all the magravs are in there, nice and neat and connected properly. And I've placed the Caroline core in the center, and it's free to rotate. And this is a side view of it. And you can see that it's all copper. There's no steel in there, and plastic with the Caroline core in the center. And this is the motor that drives it. That's on top here. I'm holding it stationary right there, and it is spinning. And I am eager to put Gans water in it and start this thing up tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you very much. You got to understand we had to hold this information back as much as possible, that we do not repeat the accidental accident of Fabio with other members of the Keshe Foundation. If you look at this structure here, if we can go on the camera, please. Can we just go on the camera? Can you take a snap picture of this, please, and then stop sharing? If you look at that structure, it's exactly a magrav unit with the core, dynamic core in the center. This is what we told you originally from the beginning. The magrav systems will be everything you need. if you want to see how you create powers the way you like, do we have Armin on the line? Can we see Armin in the background?
Yes.
Armin, are you there?
Yes.
Armin John.
Yes.
Armin John, can you show us the system which you just finished, please, with a copper ring in the middle?
Sure, no problem.
Share the screen.
It's not assembly yet, but here. You can
If you
see.
look, the core is in the center. You have two. You better explain, Armin, please.
You have a copper core in the center, not nano-coated, and two nano-coated coils, one on top, one on bottom. And it's not connected yet, but this is how, not the same as a stacker.
And the core,
And then in the middle, it goes this core. Here. Let me show you on a motor first. This is inside another core.
if you look, it's got nano-coated wires on top of both cores. So they continuously mix. With the problem with this is it's got a motor.
Yeah.
Armin, would you like to show us the unmotor man exactly the way it is in the space, please? We don't see any engines, any motors on the end of each planet.
Yes.
Armin is in the phase of replication of the same process universe, rotation without, perpetual rotation without any motors. Would you like to show us what you have? It will
Yes.
be ready by tomorrow.
Yes, it will be ready by tomorrow. This, all you have to do, just, connect your cores in the middle, which I'm gonna prepare it tomorrow perfect so I can show it. It goes in the middle, and you make your connections right away on the core.
In this setup, there is no motor to start. There is no ignition point. He uses the capacitors and the unit because everything in its plasma condition immerses in the liquid plasma.
Yes.
And it creates its own dimension. With this, if you understand, you can produce megawatts of energy. Because the speed of rotation and the liquid gas which you put in, with changing the middle one to matter state, can you stop? Pardon? Stop. The middle core being changed to a matter state, and the release of the plasma from inside dictates what would you like? Megawatts, gigawatts, kilowatts. The energy production is unlimited. The source is a free conditioned plasma rotation, and the energy crisis which has brought man to be the slave to those who control the food and energy is finished. You can produce this anywhere in the universe. Your system fails, you have to be able to restart. If you understand it, you can do what you like. If you have the condition on either side, you can create any kind of food, metal, energy, positioning. You increase one in respect to the other, you become magnetical, you become gravitational. You position this in a star formation, then you decide the span of your space system. This way, we tap into the universal energy without any matter state. The progress was to bring you to this point. The progress was to bring this situation under control. Now, if our friends who are in a disaster zone understand this, it makes it absolutely possible In a matter of next few weeks, we transfer technology and knowledge that you need to place a very few of these very much like satellites above disaster zone. You feed people with it. They receive energy from it. You don't need to make bottles to give to each individual to drink. Everybody has access to everything, from antibiotics to steaks and chips. Because the emotion of the man will carry it. These systems, in collaboration, in the right way, will make shielding barriers that no one can penetrate. Those of you who are in governmental level, who are present, good morning to you. You understand fully what we are talking about. This means we can disarm any man through psychological approach to bring them to the balance, because that's what they need. The war planned for Iran will be doomed to the hand of those who set it up in Tel Aviv and in Washington. We protect the nations through the technology, not by destruction. We'll launch. Please understand fully. You have every knowledge now to create whatever you need. You were giving the ganses to drink. Now you have the mother of the gans, the plasma-free condition yourself. The intention is the recipient. In so many ways, thank you very much. We have made one planet, one race out of the man. But you got to understand very simply, it's you now who decides how to develop this technology into the next step of space motion. The Maghreb systems in totality, in conjunction with the cores, are the tools for you to produce the free plasma condition of the center. If you put a little, you get an atom. If you put more, you get the structure interaction with the planet. If you absorb more inside it, concentrate it more, you will get galaxy condition. You want to do more, you can go to the universal condition. What you have to understand, you've got to do is this. Can I get my screen back? Okay. Thank you very much. We need to move from this one. Pardon? Okay, done. You have to understand in the structure of the inner core what you are doing. You had the core. This is your ping pong ball. You had another core inside, which outside here is all the liquids. In rotating this one at a given speed, you create a plasma condition here which covers this. But now this is the Caroline core. With the spinning of the Caroline core, now you create another plasma inside. Don't forget, this little chart still have nano-coated wires on it, and this little chart still has nano-coated wires on it. We moved on. It moved back up. Okay. Where is the frame? Why do I have this frame? Okay. So now you have this frame. The speed of the rotation of this one will compact the strength of this one. the strength of the position of the black one will compact the energy of this one. So you can see the game. By stirring the fields of this environment, you strengthen the field of here. You go from hydrogen to plutonium instantaneously. If you go in a different strength, in different dimension, you create gravitational magnetic field of the moon or magnetical field of the moon. Attracted, repelled. When I showed the basic understanding of this to the guys from American Space Agency in a small presentation, they understood. Maybe you understand in a very simple way too. If now this will make sense to you what we showed. Those who were intelligent understood it very rapidly. Those who not, they blamed it because of their own lack of understanding. I show it to you, and now you understand what it means. I come very close, then you understand. I don't use any energy. I just join the matter state. How fast do you want to travel? No fuel. You join the line of field forces. And in this process, very soon you'll find out you change the gravitational magnetic field inside the core by rotating it of different strength, homogenizing it, you go at the speed you want to go. At the moment, for those scientific organizations who worked and understood it, they are protecting islands, they are protecting space, and they are traveling in a different dimension that most of you cannot even imagine. I thank the Iranian Space Agency and the people who use it for protecting those who were getting abused. If we deliver this technology in the center of Washington, there shall be no communication between Pentagon and the soldiers that they cannot create any more crimes. Maybe that's what we have to do. If we stop and deliver the field at the strength of that every man on the territory of Iran wishes for 1,000 kilograms of gold, we can transfer all of it to London, that the Queen of England would not create more wars. But one thing you have to remember, as much as we can touch the matter state, we can transfer the soul of these out of the dimensions of this planetary, that there shall be no rulers. Start producing these systems very rapidly, as much as you can. You have all the tools, you have all the means, and you have seen very simple people in Philippines, in the state, in 2 different locations, now in China and the others are ready to create equality in science and the knowledge. I've been told I'm releasing too much advanced information in the hand of the public that they don't understand what to do with it. My answer is opposite. I give enough to the public that those who are afraid of their hands to be opened up will afraid that their soul might speak the language of the man, and then we know what mischiefs these people have been up to. If you understood, you can create the gravitational magnetic field of an atom, of a star, stand still, and create the strength of the soul of the President of the United States, which has committed so much murder in such a short time in a black office. The soul shall speak. The fear of the world leaders is not them speaking, but the souls revealing the truth. very easily, as I said in my talk, the snowdome affair will be the affair of the soul of the snowman. It will be such a snowball that no leader can stand. Start creating, very simple, wish peace and run your reactor. And as long as you're sincere and you create the emotion and the strength of the peace, you shall see no color. And when you see the color, it means you're lying to yourself. Take these systems to our leaders and tell them one thing. Tell us you want peace, we listen to your word, and we see your soul. And then you will hear the voice of the man through his soul. We said we enter political arena in July. We are here to enter. Not in one government, but in all the governments of the world. The mayhem and hunger and abuse has got to some point that now the only option is left to make it more, that somewhere it becomes so bad that we'll see literally man slaughtering man for a piece of bread, as they did in one of the richest nations of the world, like Syria. Now, maybe Europe will have a taste of what they've done to the others, and the same with the state. And do we stand to help those who have damaged the soul, or we go through the process of universal council operation, which means we give them the souls of those who have done the crime against, and they have to fit in the shoe of a dead man. It's very hard if you have to be there. The prison in the universe is not boxed and closed. The seal of the jail of the universe is being subordinate to the soul of the man which you have damaged. You become the slave of your own act. Remember one thing. When you drop a drop of the Gans water of copper in a bucket of water, every plasma Gans of water will carry the information. So there'll be less but equal. Now imagine how many men you have murdered or profited by murdering. Now your soul has to divide to be imprisoned in thousands of souls. How much torture you want to accept. Now you understand how we have punished you by your own acts and by your own deeds, not by us. Now you can. Thank you very much. Now you create the same condition in your reactors. Mix as many gases as you can. Do not be afraid. The more gases you mix in the bottom line, at the bottom of the bucket, the much variety and the strength in the center core you'll have. But there's one point, very strange point. As you have managed to create the condition of the soul of yourself, and you can communicate to understand the strength of the soul of any other man because it's made of gravitational magnetic field. If your wish is to meet the Christ, bless his name, in his soul, he will tell you the truth he wrote in the Bible. And then I wonder if there is a room for Vatican. When the man speaks himself, does not need any messengers. In a coming time, now that you have the freedom, start exercising your freedom of the universe. We have given you the key to universal interaction. Very soon, those of you who have the wrong intention will find out that you mix the wrong plasma in the container of your emotion, not in the container of your craft. Those who planned murders to gain physicality, you all have very limited time. All of you have the knowledge. You can change the condition of the animalness of this planet to the true peace with a piece of copper, if you understood. And then you can feed nations through their souls. You can join the universal community through the line of the peace of this planet. And those who came here caused so much mayhem, instead of doing their jobs right, they're already on the way back. A number of governments will tell you have access to these line of communication, but every time information was given for advancement, they used it for murder. There is no leading nations according to the population which has not been or is not in touch or has or do have line of communication with universal community. But every time we feed, we get the wrong results. Now is for man to change the course. Build as many as these systems. Build as much gas as you like. Create the flow of non-motorized system like the Earth in the cosmos. Armand will show it to you. Others will bring it to you. And if you go a step further in putting the gas water in the tank, through your emotion, you shall correlate the condition of the rotation anywhere in that container you like, so you go a step further. But if you do not reach that point, at least your cores and coils are intermediary system. You create the condition. Remember, very simple, in my teachings, I always explain this, but being passive, you do not understand. Maybe some of you will understand more. If go back to the teaching of, especially on the private teachings, I asked our students to create the motion of one thing or another. But if you have now a free plasma liquid in this box, and you know you can create in a later stage through the interaction of your understanding, motion, and control of the others, start looking into these boxes. You put the amino acid inside. You look, you concentrate, you give the field where this you want me to stick off your cotton candy. You decide. And you start. You will see beginning some motion, and then you will see the rotation. Empty the bottle, the field will be still there because you have created it. You can move it one by one in or one by one out. You can create, make this as a pool of the field and create your fields, create your star, create your planet and move it outside because now you're in control and in charge. Make another one. This is how you make the 4-star formation for a deep space travel. Some of you will bridge this in a very short time. Some of you will take you hundreds of years to even understand the basic of it. But we have thought enough that most of you can do. This is how you make, this is how planetary is being made out of the fields of the universe. We don't bring and make a planet. We don't come and bring a galaxy. We don't come and bring a star or the universe. We bring the fields, and according to the interaction of the fields, the entity takes hold. So, if you are master of your art, if you start learning what it is and how it should be, all the teachings of past 2 years, more or less, will come to its final point when, by your emotion, you dictate the size. I want the field to be the field of gold. Very easy. I will do this for you, and then you understand how feeble these people are. You put your hand in the water and you wish gold. You come out with the gold. You decide the amount, because now it's you, your intention, and the position, and in a way your neural system confirming the existence of tangibility. You can take whatever you like from it. Very hard, but exceptionally easy. It needs the truth and a balance between the blood and neural connection of the man and his intention, true intention. You put your hand in there about food to feed a nation. The nation's food will be in the palm of your hand, and with your wish will feed the nation. You wish, this is how you're going to create matter in the state. I want to build a structure where I can live on this planet. You wish, you create the condition of the plasma, and all this water, all this gas, all this matter is in a way to start giving you the self-confidence that you can tap into universal energy and make whatever you like. It's an interim step. Some of you become master of it, and some of you, not understanding it, will become slave to it. The process is extremely easy. You have done all of it. In 2 years, I have taken you from post to post, made sure as much knowledge as possible is gathered in different shape or form, and you will see the effect of it. We have how you want to see the field of it. We have a video, a small teaching as part of the agriculture teaching yesterday, which has been sent for you to see. The purpose of this, you might look at it in the state of matter of it, but it shows the effect of the fields on the matter according to the wish and understanding of the condition. Rick, can we have the presentation from Australia, please?
Yeah, I believe it's just a PDF type presentation, right? It's not a video, as far as I know.
Okay, please. Is John there on the background to speak you through?
Let's see.
Raise your hand, please.
Okay, I'm just promoting him to a panelist here, and let me get the thing lined up.
You see in the next few minutes how we even can affect so instantly, in such a short time, the vegetation, which is another type of life. And then you can imagine how faster you can do with the ones who interact with you. Is he there to join us to explain?
Hi, Mr. Kesh. Yes, I'm here.
Hello, hi, good morning or good evening to you. Would you like to take over to explain in a physical matter your trial, please?
All right. What we did was we grow micro radish, and so I did a test where I soaked some of our radish seeds in plain water, and then I took another batch of our seeds and I soaked them into the plasma water of CO2 and CH3, and I let them sit in the water for 24 hours. I then took both of these seeds and seeded them into cocoa fiber and let them to germinate. Then during the next 7 days, each batch was watered, one with the plain water and the other with the plasma water. And then both batches were harvested on the same day and then packaged. Rick? Right. There's just a picture, the top picture just shows as they started to germinate. and your bottom picture shows them when they were ready to be harvested. And then we basically cut them at this microgreen stage where it's just your first two main leaves that come through. And as you can see, the one on the left at the bottom is the plasma radish seeds, and then the ones on the right was just the plain water. And at this stage, they're both exactly the same. We saw no difference. Rick? What we had noticed was the root structure. That was the only difference we'd seen at that stage, where you can see the radish that was just watered with a plain water had quite a weak root structure compared to the plasma structure, which was a lot whiter, and you can see the difference in the growth of the root structure there. Once we had cut and washed the radish, we had placed them into punnets there, as you can see on the bottom. The one with just the plain water radish, and then the one on the right was the plasma radish. Next. So that was on the first day. Then what I did is I took photographs after several days.
Can I stop you there, please, before you go further? You and I know exactly why I asked this question. We went through it yesterday. When normally you cut this radish in a normal situation, you've been farming for 3 years with this, what is the lifespan of the product on the shelf?
Generally, we've done some trials ourselves, and we put a best before label on ours, which is just for 10 days, because our own trials had given us around about 15 days where it generally lasted. So we just give it a shelf life of 10 days for the retail shops. But
That's
otherwise,
it's a normal condition you farm at the moment, 10 days for the shelf life.
Yeah, that's the way we've been doing it all these years.
Okay, thank you very much. Carry on.
All right, so you can see the top picture is after 9 days, and you see very little change. The bottom picture was after 14 days. We also saw very little change there. Next. The top picture was after 20 days. We now get to day 20. Also very little change that we have seen at this stage. The bottom picture, the photograph's not that great, but we are day 28. And again, we hadn't seen any change in the radish. Here was day 41, a bit of a gap because I'd given up watching at this stage and I'd forgotten about it. But after day 41, we do see a little bit of yellowing of some of the leaves there on both the water and the plasma side. And then also at this stage, there was a slight odor coming off from the water-only radish, but not the plasma. And then the bottom picture, which was yesterday, you can see it's a little bit more yellowing, but otherwise they're not too bad, and that was after 47 days. As I said, we've been growing this for 3 years, and generally we haven't seen anything last longer than 15 days. What really happens at that time is that we see a lot of rot setting in, and we just end up with quite a little blob of liquid at the bottom. And then if you open these containers, there's an horrendous smell that just fills the room very quickly. And this smell is given off when the plant cells break down, and it's like a sulfur smell. I think it's like rotten egg smell, so it definitely fills the room. So we'd only started smelling, it was more on day 41, we could smell a slight odor, but it was more of a vegetation odor. It wasn't the same funny, stinky smell that we had smelled before. And I said, we've just seen the yellowing on the leaves. What we'd also done was, on the first day, we'd weighed the containers, and both of them weighed 47 grams with the radish. And then on day 41, I weighed them again, and we'd seen that they were still 44 grams. So we'd only lost 3 grams during this entire time. Both containers were then kept in the fridge at 4 degrees Celsius. Next. What we got from this is that the fridge life or your shelf life of your food can be extended way beyond its normal time by using the water, the plasma water, to grow the food with. The big question that did come to my mind was why our radish, which we'd only just soaked in water and plain water and watered with the plain water, has lasted just as long as the plasma radish. And what we had realized then was because they had been sitting next to each other, when we had soaked the seeds in water, we'd put one container water next to the plasma container water, and they sat there for 24 hours. We'd put them together on the tables to grow, and when I've put them in the fridge for these 47 days, both containers have been sitting next to each other or on top of each other in the fridge. So what's been happening is that the fields from the plasma radish have been interacting with the radish, the water-only radish, and essentially it's the stronger fields feeding the weaker fields, and it's allowed the plain water radish to last just as long. Next. The implications of this that we found was, could we place CO2, zinc oxide, with some amino acid plasma water in our fridges at home to extend the life of our fresh produce that we buy from the stores? Or we could also place this water in the stores on the shelves to extend the produce in the store as well before we bring it home. And that was the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. This has far more implication than you can think, but is in line with what just we thought. You've seen the vegetation, which has not even come in touch with the water, receives the field of the water. You do not need to be in it to have it. This is the transmutation of energy through the gans, and it's for the first time clearly can be seen. There are a number of researches which are going around this type of development, and the more and more you see, the more you understand that the field does not need the matter state. It receives what it needs to be equal to the others. And this will apply to the man and universal community from now on. As we have brought the two next to each other according to the wish of the Creator, man shall elevate to the level of the understanding of the universal community. The time of transition will be very hard, but there will be those who want to stop the process for their own physical misconducts not to be shown. My condolences, you're too late. You took a life of a young man, we take your kingship. And we have taken your kingship. You took decision to stop the process last Thursday. You gave us more to see your weaknesses. And now we explain it very easily. Your time is over. The bell rang on the 12th. Today is the 14th. Please, if you are a true man of peace and you've been asking for equality and the peace on this planet, I cannot teach you no more till you reach the understanding of this universe, and then we shall meet again to bring you into the universal community of the unicosmos. That needs another education. So what you have, what I've taught you, what you have learned, what you're going to add, is enough to bring you out, enough to be equal, is for you to be able to develop this in a very rapid way that it can change the course of the warmongering to a peaceful planet. And it's well known by those who show their two fingers that are always have been successful in bringing the fingers together. I always delivered where I appear, and I know exactly how to deliver. So, in so many ways, man has no choice. Our wish is peace, and we'll go to the end to achieve it. We expect apology for those who planned the murder of Fabio. And we will not do it by words, but we bring it to their soul. We expect the same with those who are planning revolutions and evolutions around this planet. We deliver so much that you have no room just to submit your physicality to its eventuality of imprisonment of the souls you hurt. If any of you as world leaders decide to commit suicide, not to be seen the truth about your soul, don't forget physicality does not count. We have access to your soul. You committed many crimes. Now we have opened the hand of the universe. Those who came here to teach you and they got interacted and baffled by what I call the losses of life on this planet, they in turn have to and return to be positioned in where they have to be to understand they will not, and this will not repeat itself anywhere across the universe. Taking of a physical life is as worse than taking the soul of the man. You have famine, you know how to handle it. You have, in a way, you've seen the lettuce and you've seen the radish. One bucket is your system, and one bucket, which has never received the energy, is the man who's hungry, broken leg, homeless. You bring it to his wishes to be comfort in the condition of his existence, and that's what your job shall be, and no more. And maybe we have enough time to change before it's too far, too late, but on the other hand, we have no choice. You have messed up your planets too far, too long, and those who came to give a hand stood as a bystander, and that was not supposed to be when they were here to transfer, and they became embedded in the societies which start the wrongdoing, and they start abusing. As I said, there'll be no one shall be called the Jew as we finished with Moses and demoted his station from a prophet to ordinary man as he has not delivered what he was supposed to be. There shall be no prophet called Moses. He has committed nothing but murder, and his followers still carry on the same. So there shall be no Jews. With it came the Christ and the same structure and Muhammad. So we finish with the religions as if you know the knowledge of the universe, You are the man of religion yourself. You need no guidance but the correct conduct of your emotion and the soul, and the rest is history. If you don't understand this, now that we open the door of universe to you, every, as we say in English, Tom and Dick and Harry in the space becomes another prophet because they see the weakness inside. You have the knowledge, you receive the knowledge to be able to be the creator of what you wanted and what you have, as long as it's in equal term and conditions, and is in the benefit of the totality, not individuality. So the question is very simple. As we have finished, I warned before with the mess which has come with the Hebraism and the others who use the name of the religions or the path of belief to receive and abuse the others. Now we finish with the kingship. Who is there to say one is higher than the other? And it has to come to an end. But in trying to keep the position of the higher, they have brought the abuses of the name of the religion next to them to give themselves credibility, and some have mixed it together to be stronger to what they wanted to be. We see this mixture, such a shame, in the structure of the United Kingdom, where the king and the faith has come together to create more murders than anybody else. We finish with this island. President Reagan said, unsinkable ship, we have sunk the ship. Very simple. Why should one be higher than the other? Why should one soul be higher than the other in a physical strength when at the soul level they are equal? There shall be no king, and there shall be no president. When you're in deep space, who is your president from the earth except you? Understand the word of the ambassador. The ambassador, if you speak with a diplomat, tells you one thing. I am the representative of my king, my president. I speak in his word and I speak in his place. That's what the ambassador is. And now that we have opened the universe to you, you are all ambassadors of this planet. You speak the soul of the planet. You speak the word of the humanity. That's why you are one nation, one planet, one race. It is very simple. You did not understand. Now we force you to understand that there shall be no king. There shall be no leaders, because in leadership and possessing and keeping the position of leadership, we have to force conditions that the abuse become part of it. And in this case, we need no world leaders. It takes time to change the course, but this time will be very, very short. I hope man will not go to take revenge in what they have done wrong to him by those who have done wrong to him. Do not burn the cities. The biggest sorrow for me for years has been that when the evolution or revolutions come, people destroy what is their own national asset to show their anger. It's you who loses. It's the building which you built by your assets and your sweat of your ancestors. There are some buildings which has to be brought to the ground, that man will forget about the wrong things which has happened in that space, because on the other hand, you can create the conditions in a way to place it in the center of these buildings. No man will see the building without destroying it. That does not bring and allow the emotions and the losses in that building. This be the Buckingham Palace, the White House, and the rest of it. The only places which have to be flattened, in a way, they have to be brought back to the position, because the abused many souls are those who sit at the center of what they call the abuses of man, the world religions. There have been nothing but the shame on the face of the universal community, in what we gave a message to become for improvement and development of the soul of the man became the point of the abuse of the man. Tax fraud, murders, and everything else they could put on it. We don't open that book because in so many ways our messengers got themselves entangled in the physicality of their lives. My job is done. I have accomplished and delivered. Now is your turn as one race to deliver the peace on this planet. Build as many systems as you can. Do not go for revenge, but go to elevate that they cannot sustain the elevation. Then in that way, their energy and their souls become part of the universal soup and non-existence in respect. In a way, the demise of a soul comes when it cannot find a place to call home, and in spreading to find home, it becomes lost in the soup of the universal fields. Annihilation in the essence of the fields of the universe. Any questions?
Yes, please. This is Ioannis from Greece.
Yes?
I'm not sure. I was a bit confused about which device we will build. Will it be the two balls, the reactor, one inside the other, or the one without the moving parts?
The balls are irrelevant. They can both move, but the position is that you can concentrate the fields of the free plasma you have created it. I've given this example a few times. I repeat it. You want to test it, then you understand it because it gives you confidence. You know what you have there. What you got to do is very much like this. Get yourself, we are back on. Get yourself a mixer. Nano-coated, or use a copper wire nano-coated. You will see very strange effect. Teach yourself slowly. If you put this nano-coated copper on a mixing machine, you will see a very strange effect. Vernie, are you there to come in? Is Vernie there in the background? You don't see him?
I believe he is here.
Yes.
Not sure.
Vernie, could you explain to us what happened when you do this?
I see he's in the chat. I'm not sure if he's actually there. I can try and unmute and see what happens. Hello, Bernie?
Vernie, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Vernie. Vernie, could you explain to us the test you've done with the nano-coated wire in the gas water liquid plasma?
Yes. When I spin the nano-coated copper, there is a certain speed that it bends 90 degrees towards the side. I think it reaches at around 2,500 RPM.
So what happened is correct if I'm wrong. What happened, this butterfly becomes like this.
The stem, Mr. Cash.
Beam.
Yes, it's shifted to the side. But it is a shape, just like that on the drawing, 90 degrees, which is very unusual for something like that to happen.
Don't forget, the material is nano-coated. It's in the gas water. So the field forces, because it's looped together without anywhere going, creates a new condition. Exactly what you did with the coils. If you remember, the coils which we built, especially for the medical application, sits at 90 degrees like this inside each other. It's a point of transformation of the plasma speed. It's the only way I could teach you this. So what you need now, knowing such a change, you have to create a space for the change. So what you do in your coils, at this point, you create space for it, that it can interact on its own. And you will see, you still have the butterfly to stir the fields inside, but you keep on concentrating the energy inside. This still rotates, but instead of fields twisting, it's very much polarity of the change of the planets. The field forces changes position, and now you have a place to confine your field forces, and this is the energy field which you need. If you still place this in another bowl with the same condition in the liquid plasma, that's what I said, have as many holes as you like in your bowl. You don't need to be airtight, not even here, because you gave it a frame. You are within the structure. So what you can do is now the two fields, the liquid plasma is continuously feeding it, and what you will receive is very, very simple. In a way, if you look at it, you make as much hole as possible in your ping pong ball. Because if you nano-coated this ball before you put it there, does not matter how many holes you created, the field will create the same condition. You can always take the ball away, and this is your center ball. You can create a bigger ball, then you have two fields. Understand where this comes from. Always don't accept just because it said so. You remember, you had the CO2, you had the CuO2, you had the CH3, and you put these gases of water, liquid plasma of it, in a container, and you got all three properties of it in every part of it, because they all got loaded on one plasma, where this is one, this is the other, and this is the other, all on the back of the same field. Now you have the same position here. Now, with adding it, with stirring it, you add to this one. You add to this one. You add to this one. And when you add to this, you increase the power of this plasma from this to this. This is how, in the universe, we make neutron stars, by the speed of the rotation. This is why the Earth, in comparison to the Sun, even if it looks smaller, but it moves faster, an electron around the proton creates its field absorption. There is nothing new.
So, Mr. Kesh, we're actually creating a plasma here, right?
Free plasma, of course. That was the whole teaching. You missed it. Wake up.
Yeah, I know it's the whole teaching, but I need to understand how to use this free plasma. For example, do I have to have 3 or 4 of those to produce lift?
Repeat yourself.
I have to understand how to use this free plasma. For example, if I wanted to produce lift, correct me if I'm wrong.
Produce what?
Lift, motion.
Yeah.
Would I need to have 4 of those plasmas?
You still can do it with one. Just change your ping pong ball to a chair and put the energy underneath of it. You still can create lift. What you saw with Armand, on the metal side, you can create a matter state frequency, or what you call the hertz. If you understood why we put a metal piece in the middle of the core, goes in a very simple way. In part of the teaching in the past, we thought that whenever you want to change the energy from direct to alternative, all you need to do is to scratch the nano coating. At the matter state, the field has to find a passage through between the gaps of the spacing, magnetic spacing of the atoms of the copper. It creates oscillation. In a way, it tries to get through the hole and it vibrates till it empties. Exactly how you get spasms in an epileptic attack. There's no difference between the epileptic attack and whatever you call it, the hertz in the matter state as the energy transfer. A lot of you who've been working around this technology, now you have the freedom. And my only wish from you is, before you get involved in making energy and feeding yourself, first of all, use this new knowledge to bring peace to mankind as fast as possible. Then you'll find you have already fed your soul and it finds its level. Use those of you who've been looking for peace, world peace, and talk about the peace. Peace comes when the emotion is in satisfaction, in balance with its physicality. A man who's a king and he orders a murder still is a father and loves his child. So within it, they both exist. If you satisfy and show him, would you like to murder your own child, he'll understand the pain of it. He'll understand in elevating his soul to the level that will not happen. Many times, many times in my talks, I said, look at the picture of the President of the United States, Barack Obama. Watch him for term of his presidency till the day when he had to sit and order the murder of another man, whatever name they put on the man, a woman, and a child. He took a soul, and his soul was given, and you see the face of the man changes. Age so rapidly, none than before. When you know you cannot take, why do you go to take? Then your physicality pays for your emotion. You got to understand, you have two choices. Do what I did, send them back to the level of their own, literally imprison themselves, or elevate them that they cannot stand the elevation and they become part of the soup. And the best thing with the human race is both, but in a sequence of one to another. Don't be so busy with having your free energy, having a free the flight system. Be so busy that if you manage to bring peace, understanding this technology the way it's been taught this morning, you have already flown for millions of years in a span of universe. Now you increase the level of the soul of the planet that it becomes part of in equal strength of the universal community. My purpose is not to take you into universal community as individuals. The job is to take the humanity, the planet as a whole, as one entity. And it means you all have to work to bring everything in balance the way you wanted as a piece that elevation of the soul of the planet achieved. Look at the pictures on One Planet, One Nation. Is the planet which the man carries in his hand in respect to the universal community and not the man himself. This is what the purpose is. This is what we explain, and a lot of you have missed. If you are busy, they don't give us a power generator, we need a free energy, we need a pen to get the pain. Now you have everything you want. The magic box of the universe is open. And that's it. From now to the point of understanding the creation of other universes and their operation, we have given you enough knowledge. It's you who have to test it, unravel it, walk it, and deliver it. But my advice to all of you, anyone who listens, if you've been claiming we want peace, there is no peace on this planet in every shape or form, build the system, and your first intention not be the free energy and I left, but peace on this planet. You have to elevate the soul of the planet before you all receive what you desire. And this is what is important. And a lot of you, even from the first question, came out, how do we create a lift? There wasn't a question, how do we achieve peace? Man still is too materialistic. And this is your problem. Because you always wanted to have and you're not given. And when you are given because you fought so long to have it, you forgot the rules of humanity. Now, any questions?
Mr. Kesh, this is Azad. Good morning.
Good morning, Azad. Dr. Azad, let me introduce yourself. Dr. Azad is from the United States. She's a dentist, part of the education team of the Kesh Foundation, and a medical call.
Mr. Kesh, I have two questions. One, you said Moses slaughtered a lot of people, and then you are from the line of Moses. So does it mean you came to correct what he did?
Too late.
So you are from his bloodline. So what does this mean?
I can only elevate his soul that he'll find his own punishment or his own dimension.
Okay, the second question is, if I was born for a purpose, and the way you were born and you fulfill your purpose and you found it, how can I myself find that and the reason why am I here? How can I find that?
You don't look at the center point of why I'm here. The question to answer is, how can I serve the others? That's why my purpose. Not why I'm here.
So how can I
do?
How can I find out what is my purpose then?
Your purpose is to serve. Look at the bottom line, the first line of the Kesh Foundation website. We are here to serve and not to be served. Then you understand. We are here to give, to elevate the others on condition of the state of our own, be it in every direction and shape and form. If you understand that, you have matured in the level of humanity.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. People like Dr. Azar understand these as they've gone through troubles and traumas of a revolution in Iran and understand the pain in every essence and needs. And pain and suffering brings a lot of wisdom, and the wisdom brings a lot of wealth, of knowledge, of understanding others. Any other question?
Mr. Keshan, I had a message from Clint earlier who sent the spaceship reactor version 4 picture. Is it okay to show that?
I don't know how it looks.
It's the same as earlier, the double core setup and so on. It's just all in one blueprint picture.
Let's have a look.
Okay, let me do a screen share. For those who need to have that picture of a physicality to relate to. We had... Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, this is the version, the final version, more or less. You have to realize there are 2 cores in this structure. These 2 cores are non-nano-coated cores, as you saw with armor. You need a point of reference, and the point of reference, the way we use copper here, because the physical body of the man is heavily connected to the copper. So you have a base point, and you have a system which what you call the earth condition. In all your power supplies, if you go into this level, you need to find a minimum level and then a comparison in its potential difference in the plasma and the rest in the higher order than the matter. So the copper, pardon? Pardon? They don't see this. They see a picture only. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand what you mean. Okay. So what you see here, these are copper coils, non-nano-coated. You can even in a matter state, you can spray the guns of the amino acid only and nothing else on these copper coils for your space travel. Because then you have a physicality and connection with the amino acids. So when the fields you create for dimensions of your craft has a minimum base, which is the amino acid, it means the life of the man in a space will not be changed. That's the minimum it can go the system to. This is how you guarantee your space craft in the deep space, where the minimum is the existence of the man. And as you see, these are liquid plasmas, which is created to create gravitational and magnetical. And here, this power supply is your plasmatic field, used like capacitors. In the version now, Harmon will show you in the coming days, this does not exist anymore because you will achieve free rotation. In a way, the ball will hang in between the cores. The cores will hold it on. If you put a single non-nano-coated, you will lock it into the matter state, where if you understand how to tap into the plasma compared in a way, potential difference between the matter state and the Ganser state on the 2 rings above, and in so many ways the transfer of the fields from the center to any of 2 that you can compare, you'll find what you call the flow of the current of the plasma. Power units in hundreds of megawatts from a small system like this is very, 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 very easy. Extremely easy. If you want to decontaminate an environment, if you want to feed people like the disaster in China today, in the floods, you don't need to do anything. You position a number of these reactors in the configuration they are, and in the center of these you create amino acids, the strength with let's say calcium with potassium. There is an outbreak of certain diseases. You make a replication of it into it, you add to it, no diseases. You have viruses, you do the same. You want to feed people with orange juice. You provide the energy of the orange juice in this field, and the man is standing here. If he likes the orange juice and his wish was the orange juice, he locks to the orange juice. Very, very simple. Now, I told you a few weeks ago, field plasma technology is more or less as far as the man can understand. And then in the future, when you understand how to interact these fields together, then you will see the beauty of the Creator. You open dimensions and doors into universal community that you shall all see. But I have a very bad news for you. Extremely bad news for you, but in so many ways, all of you, because of this condition where everything is kept in the plasma dimensions, you can see the history of mankind in past 6,000, 10,000 years. Who did right and who did wrong, and all the falsehood of the history books will come off in no time. Because you can go to the universal archive of the information which is being kept. There is no need to say who did wrong and what was wrong. And one of my prime jobs is and will be in the coming days to bring the presence of the soul of the Christ to finish with one of the biggest murder machines called Vatican into an end, where the peace shall come. When blessed name Christ is present in his soul and you bring it, the servant cannot speak his abuse. Then we start the peace process. If the wish of those of you who are a man of peace wish the presence and the instructions and the truth about blessed name Christ, he shall be present, and then you will tell the truth. Don't forget, the core team of the Keshe Foundation has and have delivered in delivering to elevate the physicality, the soul, physical part of these messengers of God in the past 2 years. They are ready to deliver. Then you understand how stupid all these wars have been, and then you realize how the Christians have been abused and in the background played by the Jews. And then the rest is history. How can a man who served humanity cause so much death by his servants? Let the Christ speak, and we shall see the Vatican cries. And then, as I said before, go back to my teachings, to very first view. I made you one promise. I will return the stones of Vatican back to where they came from, in the center of the Rome. Where did they come from, Giovanni? The stones of Vatican came from? No, the stones of the Vatican came from the physical Colosseum. This is what I promised. You people will go and take every stone of Vatican and you build back the Colosseum, because the loss of physicality is much better than the loss of the soul. The abuse of physical life in Colosseum has different dimension than those who claim to be the protector of the soul, which creates the physicality. So we shall see the end of religions, because now you have access to hear from the creator of the religion, not the servants who have used it. And then my advice to you is one thing. Let the soul of the abusers be fit in what we said before. You understand? In these cores in front of you, if you can create the condition of the gravitational magnetic field of a planet, condition of the gravitational magnetic field of a metal or motion or energy, then you can create the gravitational magnetic field of the soul, which is somewhere just above the gravitational magnetic field of the amino acid of the man, plus zinc. I hope you understand. The mixtures you have to create to be able to reach the levels and above the soul is zinc plus. Let me explain to you, understand very quickly. Can I have the screen back, please? Thank you very much for this. These all go as a blueprint and you can use it. The amino acid plus iron gave you hemoglobin. The amino acid, I call this whatever. We have to do it that you understand it. In conjunction with copper, gave you the physicality. The amino acid with gave you the emotion and the brain. You can see the energy difference between physicality and emotion is very close. Very close. And this is what you never understood. It's puzzled me many times, even with our doctors. Don't forget, in this part, all your immune system, all your structure, even your brain has a common denominator of calcium for its structure. Brain has no bone, but without it, there is no brain cells without the calcium from the skull of the man. The meat, the flesh, has no structure if there is no calcium in it to call it that they can stand it up. The immune system, all the D cells and whatever you call it, don't exist if they don't have a calcium that they can link to it. So you have a backbone on that side. So with the state of the soul, you don't need the calcium. But look, what's the difference? Where do you think the strength of the soul of the man will be? If you manage to create this to change your pain in your body, if you manage to add this to your coils and you've seen the change of the emotion, my dear friends, the soul of the man is not far reached in the state of the elements of the universe. So simple. And now, if you understand this, you can create and call upon the soul of the Christ, and he'll tell you what the Vatican is built on. Blood of the man. Let him deliver, not the messengers to color it the way they like. You understand how easy you've gone from physicality into emotion, and now you find the mixture which brings the soul into it and is in the structure of part of the elements which you have already made a GANs of. Don't forget, there is a trick in the game. The muscle tissue has emotion, as does have the brain. Then, if you understand this, not only you see the soul of the Christ, but you'll have him visually with you. Then you will know if it was truly brown eye or a blue eye. Was he blonde or black? So, in the system, free system, in that core in the center, you create the energy of the fields of the soul of the man. And then, if your intention is true, you will understand there shall be no light, but you will see through, and you see the soul. There is only light behind that curtain as long as there is interaction, difference between the high level of the field strength of the sun and the low level fields of the earth in gravitational magnetic. If you create the right field in the right order, and when it's all equal, there is no light. You see a darkness. You see a very transparent, no color darkness, and you see your soul. And then, when the wish is different, the light will take to you, if my wish is peace, and it's in my soul, and it's the condition I want, and you put it in front of a president and say, mine too, yours is so strong and that's so devious that it's of a lower strength, it will shine like nothing. And those of you who are pure in heart and the same intention and understanding of the soul as Blessed Muhammad or Christ, we count totally out Moses as has been demoted to the level of a man, shall not be called a prophet. Then you shall see. Then you shall understand why we have come to this point to deliver, because the man has gone too far to stop from this mayhem they have created. Then, if you can create and understand the strength of the level of the element, which gives you the field and strength of the soul of the man at peace, load up your reactors and let them run. Anywhere on this planet, you learn about the vegetables next to each other, how they both grew the same, while the others before used to last 10 days. Once one of the human race reaches the state of the soul of the peace, it will go around the world like a hot fire. Now, those of you who've been crying, I'm peaceful, I want peace, build your system. And those of you who don't do it, is the fear of yourselves, your hands to be open, your true intentions. We do not start a witch hunt, but we start the search of the truth for mankind. Because it's enough is enough. And as I said, in my time shall not be no murders. I will not kill the souls, but I allow the souls to release their feeble strength into the level to raise the level of the soul of those who have done wrong to. If the world leaders know what we thought today, we will see mass funerals, as I promised on Tuesday. But the world leaders, I have a bad news for you. Physicality doesn't count. We thank no nation and we thank no leaders, as all have done some wrongs to be in the position they are, and those who have done wrong to keep to the material state soon will take the march in confessing to their own things, trying to put it right. We'll see unions to break up, and we see a lot of things opening up that it brings peace to man. I have done my job, and I warned you a few weeks ago. I stopped teaching because I've taught you everything. I guide you to achieve peace. I'll bring you the message in one language. The universal community has an open door for mankind. When the mankind dares to open the door to join in, it's not us which have locked you out. It's you which, by what you've done wrong to yourselves, have locked yourself in. We knocked on the door of human race many times. And those who opened the door in small gaps took the gift and abused for what was inside. We end up with the Rothschild family that abused the knowledge we gave them for the benefit of more or less torturing the humanity. There shall be no Rothschild as we finished with Judaism too. Build your reactors on the intention of the peace. Start understanding how to create, feel the strength of the soul of the man, and then you will reach the man itself. You elevate the soul of the man, and in elevating it, knowing himself that it doesn't deserve to be elevated for what is done wrong, kings shall fall, world leaders will not be there, and the corridors of finance and power become non-existent. And that was my job. That was why I accepted this mission when I accepted it. And it was so bad that I had to come in person myself to do the job, as the messengers messed it up more and more. So we have two choices as a human race today. Go to the next step to create peace, or go to the next steps and annihilate the totality of the energy, and you have to wait in this village of the earth for another thousands of years, cutting each other's throat, eating each other's flesh, killing each other for a few pennies, which outside, as I said it before, 2 meters above this earth, no money, no gold has any value. Because in the universe, we have no money. We exchange and give from our soul to elevate the others, and we ask for none because we know we can reach for whatever we need. Is the man mature enough to join us, or do we have to bring so much that the man does not understand where it comes from? Those who abused shall talk of their own abuse. Those who served will shine like a star in the human race across the universe. I've done my job. It's for you to find that circle beyond the zinc. And once you understand and find that, then you decide to see the true man, and you all find out your physicality is irrelevant, because what you have got, you can create as much as you like. It's you who decides what will be at the end of it, and you have the potential to do so. We still live amongst men like the men, not to stand out, but we see the soul of the man through our own strength. I said, and I repeat, those who have committed murders shall respond. If it needs be, we shall bring their souls. I tell you one thing, which is impossibilities. Accident the day before the revelation, at the same position and address or junction of my house, is impossibility. If it was 1 kilometer up, 2 kilometers down, yes. Look at the accident point, and then you understand the target was to warn. We received the warning, but in a way we never thought the man would be so low. So we responded back. We take your soul. Then you have nobody to live in. There are no coincidences. Go on my talk of last week. I said to you, do not make any assumptions and do not make any theories. And I said to you, this was a pure accident. This was the accident of the greed and blocking the man to elevate. And unfortunately, those who created it, those who created so much mayhem and problem around the foundation, now it serves you your own soul to eat of the flesh of the bodies you have destroyed. That's your problem. I'm not here to take revenge. I'm here to elevate the soul of the man. But those who have tried very hard to obstruct this time the development, you have failed. I'll stay here till the time we deliver the totality and the mankind on the platform of peace to the universal community. Those of you who escape in writing in God knows whatever shape or form, we will knock on your door our way. No problem. We had to find a connection, and we did find a connection. When, as I said, we kicked the dog and the cat meowed. We have found connection between the royal families of Europe in murdering scientists. We have found the money trace in Panama and the other places. We have found the hidden connections of the operation, and in time will be released by those who work for the peace of mankind across the Keshe Foundation organization worldwide. There shall be no king, because these kings have done a lot of wrong. And now it's time for the payback time of their souls and nothing else. Be very, very careful in how you start developing, start understanding the level of the soul and creation of the soul in the free plasma condition, because if you do not do, then you come to see things which you are not prepared for. You only can understand in what you can see and in what is the level of your understanding. Today is the day of revelation, and now we have revealed. It's for you to understand what we are about to do with you and you do to yourself. We are here about to free man from the shackles of his own physicality and the others who wanted to use it and have done so. Thank you very much for today. I leave it with you. We come back on the blueprint on Tuesday or whenever the first one of you manages to achieve free rotation, the first one of you manages to create the structure of the soul, and then that's our purpose. We have created all these ganses, we have created the pens to reach the soul, and now this part is yours. When you've done this, please knock on the soul at spaceshipinstitute.org. We'll check, we'll see, and we'll let you share. If you will not manage to achieve it, do not bother sending it, because we know all and we see all. When you achieve it, come and we share it with the rest. Don't forget, soul at spaceshipinstitute.org. We have a good news for you. We ended up with that note. Ghana conference, we're elevating the soul and the knowledge of the African nations, is announcing its opening of the door for registration. Rick or Witz, you have the video. Would you like to play?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, I've got that ready to go here. Just a second.
There is one word in this which will be changed. The Africans decided to call themselves a third world in this video. And I said, there is no third world. We are all equal on this planet. Today is the last time you hear a word of third world. In the next presentation, in the load up, will be African nations. Because we've done so much to these people that they have come to accept that they are lower than others, but the souls are all equal. Please play.
Okay, let me just get this set up. I think it'll work now.
Keshe Foundation Ghana, in association with Ghana Atomic Commission and Ghana Spaceship Institute, would like to invite you to attend the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference, October 17th through 19th, 2016, in Ghana. Keshe Foundation Ghana's mandate is to build awareness and promote research into plasma technology. The Foundation is presently working with governmental institutions and other interest groups in Ghana to fulfill this goal. At the conference, you will be afforded the opportunity to learn about and experience plasma technology firsthand. The cost of admission to the conference includes 3-night stay in one of Ghana's prestigious hotels. Hotel packages include a single, double, or twin room option, and an option for an apartment or suite. Breakfast, tea, and coffee breaks, and a buffet lunch on the days of the conference are also included. Keshe Foundation Ghana is focused on utilizing plasma technology in order to solve the numerous problems that third world countries face. Come to the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference in Ghana. Learn about plasma technology and learn how you can participate in spreading the word about it. Together, we can bring freedom to Africa and humanity, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you very much, and good day to you. We'll meet you when you are ready to meet the soul of the Christ, and we finish with part of the problem of the mankind. Thank you for today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. That'll bring an end to the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, July 14th, 2016. Okay, I'll end the live stream and we'll end the meet.